Doc, I know that sound.
Your vitals are still highly unstable.
We are out of time.
Somewhere out past the edge of known space, there is a soldier that alien empires are told never to send assassins after. Not because he is strong, not because he carries powerful weapons, but because of something far stranger. He can hear them coming before they even move a muscle. This is not fiction pulled from thin air. This is the kind of story that HFY fans whisper about in forums. The kind that makes people ask, what if humans are not the weak ones in the galaxy? But the truth behind this story will shock you. Here are 3 things you are about to learn that most people never talk about. First, how a simple, forbidden blood experiment turned an ordinary human guard into something that should not exist. Second, why alien commanders started calling him the ghost who listens, and why saying his name out loud became a bad omen. Third, the final secret about his enhanced hearing that even the scientists who created him did not expect. This story blends danger, mystery, and the kind of human grit that keeps you glued to the screen. It is a tale about survival, about being underestimated, and about how one man's ears became the most feared weapon in the galaxy. Let me show you exactly how this happened. It started on a quiet space station near the edge of a war zone. The guard's name was Ethan Cole. He was not famous. He was not a hero. He was just a regular soldier doing a regular job, guarding a medical wing filled with wounded alien scientists and human prisoners of war. Ethan was tall, tired, and quiet. He had been in the war for 3 years. He had seen friends die. He had seen things blow up that should never blow up. But he kept doing his job, day after day, because someone had to. One night, everything changed. An enemy ship crashed near the station. Inside it were 3 alien surgeons. They were not soldiers. They were scientists who had been running secret experiments on blood and nerves. Their ship had been shot down while escaping their own government, who wanted to shut their research down forever. Ethan found them first. He could have reported them right away. He could have called his commander and let the military take over. But something told him to wait. Maybe it was curiosity. Maybe it was the way one of the aliens looked at him, eyes wide with fear, holding up empty hands. "Please," the alien surgeon said in broken human language. "We are not fighters. We only want to survive." Ethan lowered his weapon. He brought them inside the station quietly, without telling anyone. It was against every rule he had ever been taught. But he did it anyway. The aliens were grateful. They said they wanted to repay him. They said they had something that could change his life forever, a special kind of blood, made in their lab, that could give a human incredible senses. They called it synthetic blood. It had been tested on animals before, but never on a human. It was dangerous. It could kill him, but it could also make him more powerful than any human before. Ethan did not think about it for long. He was tired of feeling weak in a war he could not winches. He was tired of watching his friends die because they could not see danger coming in time. So he said yes. That night, in a small medical room lit by dim blue lights, the surgeons prepared the injection. Ethan sat on the edge of a hospital bed, his heart pounding. The lead surgeon, an old alien with silver skin and deep black eyes, looked at him one last time. "Once we do this," the surgeon said, "there is no going back. Your body will change. Your mind will change. You may hear things no human has ever heard before." Ethan nodded. "Do it." The needle went inches. At first, nothing happened. Ethan felt a small sting, then a strange warmth spreading through his arms and chest. Then the pain started. It felt like fire moving through his veins. His whole body shook. The surgeons held him down, watching his vital signs spike on their small screens. For a moment, they thought he would not survive. Then, suddenly, Ethan's body went still. His breathing slowed. His eyes opened wide, but he did not scream anymore. He just lay there, staring at the ceiling, listening. What is that sound?" he whispered. The surgeons looked at each other, confused. "What sound?" one asked. "There's a heartbeat," Ethan said slowly. 2 rooms away. It's beating fast. Someone is scared." The surgeons could not believe it. There was no way a human could hear a heartbeat 2 rooms away through solid walls. But when they checked, they found a nervous young medic sitting alone in a supply closet, exactly where Ethan said he heard the heartbeat. It was working. The synthetic blood had changed something deep inside Ethan's body. His ears, his nerves, even parts of his brain, were now working in a completely new way. He could hear sounds that were far away. He could hear sounds that were very quiet. He could even feel small vibrations in the floor when someone walked nearby. The surgeons were amazed, but also afraid. They knew this kind of power could not stay secret for long. If the wrong people found out what Ethan could now do, he would become a target. Not just from enemies, from his own side too. Governments always want to control power like this. They do not always want to protect the person who has it. They warned Ethan to keep it a secret. He agreed. For now, only 4 people in the galaxy knew what he could do: Ethan and the 3 alien surgeons. But secrets like this never stay hidden for long. 2 days later, something strange happened. A shipment of medical supplies arrived at the station, sent from a nearby command base. It seemed normal at first. But that night, while Ethan was walking through a quiet hallway, he heard something no one else could hear. Footsteps. Slow. Careful. Coming from a supply room that was supposed to be empty. He stopped walking. He listened harder. There were 3 sets of footsteps. Their breathing was calm, controlled, like people trained to stay silent. Ethan's new senses picked up something else too. A faint click. The sound of a weapon being prepared. Someone was hiding in the station, and they were not there to fix medical supplies. Ethan's heart began to race, but his mind stayed sharp. For the first time since the injection, he understood exactly what the surgeons meant when they warned him about danger. His new hearing was not just a gift. It was about to save his life. Ethan did not run. He did not panic. Instead, he stood completely still in the hallway, letting his new senses guide him. He closed his eyes and focused only on sound. He could hear 3 heartbeats in the supply room. All calm. All controlled. These were not scared workers. These were trained killers, waiting quietly in the dark. He also heard something strange, a soft, metallic clicking sound. It sounded like the checking of a weapon safety switch. Humans usually could not hear such small sound from that distance. But Ethan could hear it clearly, like it was happening right next to his ear. He quietly backed away and moved toward the security office. His mind was racing. Who were these people? Why were they hiding inside a supply room on a guarded station? And most importantly, How long had they been there without anyone noticing? When he reached the security office, he told the officer on duty what he heard. The officer laughed at first. "There's nobody in that room, Cole. We checked the manifest ourselves." But something in Ethan's voice made the officer pause. Ethan had always been calm, never one to make things up. So, just to be safe, the officer agreed to check the security cameras again. What they found shocked them both. The camera feed from the supply room had been looping the same 10 seconds of footage for the last 2 hours. Someone had hacked into the station's system and hidden their tracks. If Ethan had not heard those footsteps, nobody would have known intruders were even there. The officer called for backup immediately. Soldiers surrounded the supply room. When they broke in, they found 3 armed men, dressed in stolen human military uniforms. But their faces, their eyes, something was different. When the soldiers pulled off their helmets, they found strange devices attached behind their ears, blinking with a faint red light. These were not ordinary soldiers. These were enhanced assassins, sent by a rival faction to eliminate the alien scientists Ethan had rescued 2 nights before. Someone, somewhere, already knew about the crash landing. Someone wanted those scientists dead before they could share their research with anyone else. The station commander was furious and confused. How did the enemy find out so fast? How did they slip past every security system undetected? These were questions nobody could answer that night. But one thing was clear: Ethan Cole had just saved 4 lives, simply by hearing something no normal human should have been able to hear. Word of the incident spread quickly through the station, though the full truth was kept hidden. Officially, the report said that a guard's sharp senses helped stop an infiltration. Nobody mentioned synthetic blood. Nobody mentioned the alien surgeons. The 3 scientists who had performed the injection begged Ethan to stay quiet about what had really happened. They feared what could happen to both him and them if the truth ever came out. But something inside Ethan had already changed. He could not go back to being an ordinary soldier now. His senses kept growing sharper every day. He could hear conversations from rooms away. He could hear the soft click of hidden weapons long before they were fired. He could even tell the difference between a nervous heartbeat and a calm, deadly one. At first, it felt like a gift. But slowly, Ethan began to realize it was also a heavy burden. He could not turn it off. Every sound in the station, every whisper, every footstep, every breath, he heard it all the time. At night, he could not sleep peacefully. The world was too loud for him now, filled with sounds most people never even noticed. The alien surgeon tried to help him control his new senses. They taught him breathing techniques to help him filter out unimportant noises and focus only on the sounds that mattered. Slowly, Ethan began to master his gift. He learned how to listen for specific patterns: the sound of a weapon being loaded, the sound of someone trying to walk quietly, even the subtle change in someone's breathing when they were about to lie. Weeks passed. The station returned to a fragile kind of normal. But deep in the shadows, word had begun to spread across enemy networks. Whispers moved from ship to ship, base to base. They spoke of a human guard on a small station who could somehow sense danger before it struck. They did not know his name. They did not know how he did it. But they knew he was dangerous. Enemy commanders began sending more experienced killers, hoping to test the rumors and finish what the first team had failed to do. Each time, Ethan was ready. Each time, His new senses gave him just enough warning to stop them before they got close. But every battle he survived made his name grow bigger in the shadows. Soon, people across different factions were talking about the guard nobody talks about, a soldier so mysterious that most refused to even say his name out loud, fearing it might bring bad luck to anyone who tried to hunt him. Ethan did not want fame. He did not want to be a legend. He just wanted to protect the people around him and survive one more day. But fate, it seemed, had other plans for him. And soon, the war would bring him face to face with an enemy far more dangerous than any assassin sent before. 6 months passed since the first attack on the station. Ethan's reputation had grown far beyond what he ever expected. Soldiers on his station began calling him Ghost Ears behind his back, a nickname that made him uncomfortable, but that he could not stop from spreading. The 3 alien surgeons who had changed his life stayed close to him, always watching over their creation with a mix of pride and worry. They had never expected the experiment to succeed this well. And now, with Ethan becoming a legend, they feared their secret research might soon attract attention from powers far more dangerous than a handful of assassins. They were right to worry. One evening, a high-ranking human commander arrived at the station for an unscheduled inspection. His name was General Marcus Hale, a stern man known for his strict rules and cold personality. Officially, he was there to review security procedures after the failed assassination attempt months earlier. Unofficially, he had heard the rumors about a guard with impossible hearing, and he wanted to see it for himself. Ethan was called into a private meeting room. General Hale sat across from him, studying him carefully. "I've heard some interesting stories about you," Guard Cole, the general said. "Some say you can hear a whisper from across a building. Some even say you can hear a heartbeat through solid steel. Is that true?" Ethan hesitated. He had promised the alien surgeons he would keep his ability secret. But lying to a general felt dangerous too. "I have good hearing, sir," Ethan said carefully. "Better than most, I suppose." The general leaned back in his chair, unconvinced. "Better than most is an understatement. Cole, according to reports, you detected hidden intruder that our own security systems failed to notice. That is not simply good hearing. That is something else entirely." Silence filled the room. Ethan knew he could not hide the truth much longer. Not from someone with the general's authority. Slowly, carefully, Ethan told him the truth about the crash, about the alien surgeons, about the injection that changed his body forever. General Hale listened without interrupting. When Ethan finished, the general sat quietly for a long moment. "This is exactly the kind of thing our enemies fear the most," Hale finally said. "A human who cannot be caught by surprise. A human who hears the future before it happens." He paused. "But it's also exactly the kind of thing our own government would want to control, weaponize, or worse, replicate on a larger scale." Ethan felt a cold chill run through him. He understood immediately what the general meant. If word of this technology spread further, both sides of the war might try to capture him, study him, or force the alien surgeons to recreate the process on other soldiers, whether they consented or not. "I need you to trust me," General Hale said. "I am not here to expose you. I am here to protect what you and those scientists created, but I also need your help." He explained that intelligence reports had picked up chatter about a much larger threat forming near the war's front lines, a group of elite alien assassins known only as the Silent Order, These assassins were trained from childhood to move without sound, to strike without warning, and to disappear before anyone could react. They had never failed a mission. Entire outposts had gone silent overnight because of them, leaving behind no survivors and no clues. "If anyone can detect them before they strike," Hale said, "it's you." Ethan felt the weight of the request settle heavily on his shoulders. He was no longer just a station guard protecting a small medical wing. He was being asked to become humanity's first line of defense against an enemy that no ordinary soldier could see coming. He looked toward the alien surgeons, silently asking for their opinion. The lead surgeon nodded slowly. "This war will not wait for us to stay hidden forever," she said. "If Ethan can save lives with what we've given him, then perhaps that is the purpose this power was always meant for." Ethan took a deep breath and nodded. "I'll do it." Within days, Ethan was reassigned to a special task force, working directly under General Hale. His new mission was simple in words but terrifying in reality: track and stop members of the Silent Order before they could complete their next assassination. The alien surgeons went with him, continuing to study and support his abilities in secret, careful to avoid drawing unwanted attention from either government. As Ethan trained for his new role, his senses continued to grow stronger. He began noticing patterns other soldiers could never detect: the subtle shift in air pressure before a hidden door opened, the faint vibration of boots moving carefully across metal floors, even the barely audible click of an assassin's cloaking device activating. But even with his growing skills, Ethan knew the Silent Order would be unlike anything he had faced before. These were not desperate soldiers sent on a rushed mission. These were trained killers, perfected over years, moving with a level of stealth that had never been beaten. The real test of Ethan's abilities and his courage was about to begin. The first mission came sooner than Ethan expected. Reports arrived that a Silent Order assassin had been spotted near a research outpost on a nearby moon, one that housed several important scientists working on new medical technology for wounded soldiers. If the assassin succeeded, years of important research could be lost forever, along with the lives of everyone inside. Ethan was sent in with a small team of 4 soldiers. Their job was simple: protect the outpost and, if possible, capture the assassin alive for questioning. Nobody had ever captured a member of the Silent Order before. Most encounters ended the same way: silence, then death. As their shuttle approached the moon's surface, Ethan closed his eyes and focused. Even from a distance, before they landed, he began picking up faint sounds through his headset's external microphones, a strange rhythm in the wind, almost like breathing, but far too controlled to be natural. "Something's already here," Ethan warned his team. "It's close to the outpost. Move quietly." The team landed and approached the research building carefully. Inside, the scientists were unaware of any danger, continuing their work as normal. Ethan led his team through the hallways, listening carefully to every sound around him. Then he heard it: a soft shifting of fabric, a controlled, slow breath, coming from directly above them, in the ceiling vents. "Up there," Ethan whispered, pointing toward the vent covering above long hallway. His team raised their weapons just as the vent cover silently slid open. A figure dropped down without a sound, landing perfectly on its feet. It wore a dark, form-fitting suit that seemed to bend and blur the air around it, making it hard to see clearly, even at close range. This was a member of the Silent Order. The assassin moved incredibly fast, faster than anything Ethan had trained against before. But Ethan's senses gave him a small, crucial advantage. He could hear the smallest shift in the assassin's movement, the faint sound of muscles tensing right before an attack. As the assassin lunged toward one of Ethan's teammates, Ethan shouted a warning half a second before it happened, allowing his teammate to dodge just in time. The fight that followed was intense and fast. The assassin was skilled, calm, and nearly untouchable. But every time it tried a surprise attack, Ethan's ears caught the smallest clue, a change in breathing, a tiny shift in balance, and called it out just in time for his team to react. Eventually, after a tense and dangerous struggle, the team managed to corner the assassin and subdue it using a special sonic net designed by the alien surgeons, something they had quietly developed in case Ethan ever faced an enemy too fast to fight directly. It was the first time in recorded history that a member of the Silent Order had been captured alive. News of the successful mission spread quickly through military channels, though most details remained classified. General Hale was pleased, but he also understood the deeper meaning behind this victory. If Ethan could hear an assassin from the Silent Order coming, then perhaps humanity finally had a way to fight back against the shadows that had haunted the war for years. But capturing one assassin did not mean the danger was over. In fact, it made things worse. The Silent Order did not take failure lightly. Losing one of their own, especially one captured alive, was seen as a great insult to their organization. Within days, intelligence reports confirmed something terrifying. The Silent Order had placed a bounty on Ethan Cole's life, marking him as their #1 target across the entire war zone. For the first time, Ethan was not just protecting others. He had become the hunted. Despite the danger, Ethan refused to hide. He continued his missions, growing more confident with each encounter. He learned to predict assassins' movements not just by sound, but by understanding their training patterns, learning how members of the Silent Order breathe differently under stress compared to calm situations. His skills evolved from simply hearing danger to almost predicting it before it even began. Word of the guard nobody talks about spread even further, now whispered fearfully among enemy ranks. Some began to believe he was not entirely human anymore. Others thought he had some kind of alien blessing protecting him. The truth, though incredible, was simpler than any rumor. An ordinary soldier, given an extraordinary gift, chose again and again to use it to protect others instead of running away. But deep down, Ethan knew something bigger was coming. The Silent Order's leader, a mysterious figure known only as the Whisper, had reportedly taken personal interest in ending Ethan's growing legend once and for all. The final battle between them was inevitable, and when it finally arrived, it would test everything Ethan had learned, everything he had become, and reveal a secret about his own transformation that even the alien surgeons had never expected. The final confrontation happened on a remote listening station near the edge of contested space, place chosen specifically because sound traveled strangely through its metal corridors. It was the perfect battlefield for a war fought with silence and hearing. General Hale warned Ethan that intelligence suggested the Whisper, leader of the Silent Order, would personally lead the attack this time. This was no ordinary assassin. The Whisper was rumored to be the very first successful product of enhanced training methods designed to counter soldiers with heightened senses like Ethan's. If the rumors were true, the Whisper had spent years learning how to move in complete silence, undetectable even by the most advanced sensors ever built. Ethan volunteered to stay behind and protect the station alone, sending the rest of his team to safety. He knew that facing the Whisper directly, without fear of harming his teammates, gave him the best chance of ending this threat once and for all. Night fell across the station. Ethan sat quietly in the main control room, eyes closed, listening carefully to every sound in the building. Minutes passed, then hours. The silence grew heavier, almost unnatural. Then, faintly, Ethan heard something strange, not a sound, but the complete absence of one. An area near the eastern corridor had gone eerily quiet, as if all natural background noise had been deliberately erased. It was a technique Ethan had never encountered before, one designed specifically to trick even his enhanced hearing. He realized then that the Whisper was not simply hiding. The Whisper was hunting him, using silence itself as a weapon. Ethan moved carefully toward the eastern corridor, his senses stretched to their absolute limit. Every step he took, he listened for the smallest disturbance in the unnatural quiet surrounding him. Finally, he noticed it, a barely detectable change in air pressure, the subtle sign of someone moving very slowly through the same hallway. Without warning, the Whisper struck. The attack was faster than anything Ethan had ever experienced. He barely managed to avoid a direct hit, feeling the wind of a blade pass just inches from his face. The fight that followed pushed Ethan's abilities beyond anything he had trained for. The Whisper moved with such precision and control that even Ethan's incredible hearing struggled to keep up completely. But as the battle continued, Ethan noticed something unexpected. Beneath the Whisper's calm and controlled exterior, there was a very faint, almost imperceptible irregular heartbeat, a tiny flaw hidden deep within an otherwise perfect assassin. It was subtle, something only someone with Ethan's specific abilities could ever notice. In that critical moment, Ethan understood something important. The Whisper was not some unstoppable, emotionless killing machine. Beneath years of training and discipline, there was still a human-like nervous system, still capable of small, involuntary reactions under extreme pressure. Using this discovery, Ethan changed his strategy. Instead of trying to predict the Whisper's movements through sound alone, he began targeting moments when that tiny, irregular heartbeat spiked, moments of hesitation hidden beneath perfect control. Slowly, carefully, Ethan turned the tide of the fight, using every ounce of skill and instinct he had developed over the past year. Finally, after an intense and exhausting struggle, Ethan managed to overpower the Whisper, using the same sonic technology that had captured the first Silent Order assassin months earlier. As the Whisper's mask was removed, revealing an alien face marked with years of intense training and suffering, Ethan realized something surprising. Beneath all the fear and mystery surrounding this legendary assassin, there was simply another living being, shaped by circumstances beyond their control, just as Ethan had been shaped by his own unexpected transformation. With the Whisper captured, the Silent Order's operations were severely weakened. Without their most skilled leader, their remaining members became easier to track and stop, ultimately reducing their deadly influence across the war significantly. Ethan's role in ending this threat could not remain fully secret forever. While many details stayed classified for years, whispered stories about the guard nobody talks about eventually became something closer to quiet legend among soldiers and scientists alike, respected rather than feared. The alien surgeons who first gave Ethan his incredible gift continued their research, now supported openly by careful, controlled government oversight, ensuring their powerful technology would never fall into the wrong hands again. Ethan himself chose to remain mostly out of the spotlight, continuing to serve, continuing to protect, never seeking fame for what he had done. In the end, Ethan Cole's story became proof of something deeper than just an incredible ability to hear danger before it struck. It became a story about choosing to protect others, even when carrying an unimaginable burden. It became a reminder that even ordinary people, given extraordinary circumstances, can rise to meet challenges far greater than themselves. Here's the twist most people never expect. Ethan's gift was never really about hearing sound. According to the alien surgeon's final research notes, the synthetic blood had reportedly rewired something much deeper, his ability to sense fear itself, through tiny changes in breathing, heartbeat, and movement most living beings cannot control. Sound was simply how his brain translated that sixth sense into something he could understand. This means the story was never really about a man with super hearing. It was about a man who could sense fear before it turned into violence. That single detail changes everything you thought you knew about the guard nobody talks about. This ties directly back to where we started, a quiet, ordinary soldier who almost stayed silent about a dangerous secret, but instead used it to protect the people around him. If this story opened your eyes to how powerful an ordinary person can become under extraordinary circumstances, you are going to want to see what happens next, because Ethan's next mission takes him somewhere even more dangerous, straight into enemy territory. Alone. If this opened your eyes, let's quickly recap what made this story so powerful. An ordinary guard received forbidden alien blood experiment. That experiment gave him the ability to sense danger before it struck. And in the end, his true gift was not hearing sound, but sensing fear itself, something no ordinary soldier or ordinary human has ever been able to do before. Stories like this remind us that courage often comes from unexpected places, and that even the quietest, most overlooked people can become heroes when the moment calls for it. If you enjoyed this HFY Sci-Fi story, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you never miss the next incredible tale like this one. Our channel is dedicated to bringing you the best humanity. HFY stories, filled with mystery, courage, and the kind of underdog moments that remind us why humanity should never be underestimated. If you want to go deeper into stories like Ethan's, check out our next video, where we explore another human soldier whose hidden ability changes the outcome of an entire intergalactic war. Now I want to hear from you. If you had one enhanced sense, super hearing, super sight, or super strength, which one would you choose? And why? Drop your answer in the comments below. I read every single one, and I always feature the best answers in future videos. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next story.